Hi, Leona. I heard from Harvey. You have to rest up at home for a while, huh? It's not just an excuse for a holiday, is it?
Hi, Crystal. The doctors say that's the best thing at the moment. My blood pressure is high and I feel sick. There's not much that can be done other than take it easy. Doctor's orders. Better to be on the safe side, she said. I just need to limit my movements as much as possible. No heavy lifting.
Do tell the truth. I thought you were getting a bit squidgy around the waist. Bigger people need to be extra careful, especially in your condition.
You think? My doctor didn't suggest losing any weight. Actually, she said I was well within the acceptable range. I may have put on a bit, I suppose. I haven't been going to my yoga classes since I found out I was pregnant. I guess I could start again at home with some online videos. I know I should have kept at it. It's probably really good for the baby. The doctor said a lot of women get high blood pressure when pregnant, especially with their first child. Anyway, I'm just going to follow my doctor's orders and put my feet up a bit. Work was so busy before I stopped. This will be the first time I've actually relaxed in years.
Oh, is that right? I don't remember being told that when I was pregnant with Harvey or his brothers. It sounds like your doctor is giving you a perfect excuse to be a lazybones. We were made of stronger stuff than your generation, but it was much harder back then. We had to do a lot more for ourselves, and we didn't have fancy doctors and their computers and gadgets. My mother told me a story of a woman who used to drive a tractor on one of the big corn farms in Nebraska. She delivered her baby premature right in the cab of her tractor. She didn't want to call for help, so she finished the harvest with the baby still attached. That's what it was like back then.
Are you sure that's not just an old wives' tale? Sounds a bit far-fetched, even for a couple of generations ago.
No, my mother swears it happened to a friend of her cousin's. So you'll be putting your feet up, huh? Catch up on all the Netflix you've missed.
Yeah, just until my blood pressure stabilizes. If it doesn't go down naturally, the doctor said we should look at medication.
Oh dear, no. You can't go taking medicine like that when you're pregnant. It will harm the baby.
I asked about that. My doctor said that recent studies show that hypertension medicine poses no threat to the fetus. Anyway, hopefully just taking it easy at home will fix it. I don't want to take medicine if I don't have to.
This, relaxing at home, does it mean you won't be doing any housework?
Kind of. I'm just doing the basics. Folding, washing, and pushing the vacuum cleaner around a bit. You know, the things that pile up if you don't do them every day. But Harvey has started doing more around the house. He's always been good like that. He even cooks sometimes. He spends most Sundays watching Italian and Spanish cooking classes on YouTube.
Yes, but Harvey is working extremely hard every day. Why does he have to come home after a hard day's work and do the housework?
Because he's going to be a father? I'm carrying his baby, so he seems happy to help out more. He actually did quite a lot. It's not the 1950s. We talked about the need for me to stay relatively still most of the time, and he told me he'd do most of the housework, even just for the time I'm at home resting.
You millennials, what's wrong with people these days? Don't you see what a huge extra burden it is for him? Having to come home and do all the housework will be very stressful. While you're relaxing with your feet up, getting fat, he doesn't have a single minute to relax himself.
Well, it's not like I'm doing nothing. I do what I can. And our house isn't that big. It's manageable, I think. It's going to be even more stressful for both of us when the baby arrives. My friends with babies always look tired, and they often have to cancel cafe dates because of sudden doctor's visits and fevers. Harvey and I were talking about this last night. We were joking, saying it's the calm before the storm.
I see.
But we'll make it. The two of us. Then it will be the three of us. We've been planning this for some time now. I'm lucky enough to have a boss that understands. He told me to take as much time as I need on 80% salary. That's pretty rare in this place.
Are you taking advantage of Harvey's good nature? He's such a kind and loving young man. It sounds like you're walking all over him, treating him like your personal cook, cleaner, and butler.
I think that's going a bit far. I like to think, I hope, that he does it for me and the baby. Not because he thinks he has to.
Well, I guess there's no other way around it. I'm going to have to go over there and clean up myself.
What? You'd come all the way over here to clean our house? I don't think that's necessary.
No. Thank you very much is the correct response you were looking for, I think you'll find. Sometimes I surprise myself with my kindness. I would have thought you'd be grateful for my services.
It's okay. You don't have to come over. We're fine, really. At the moment, we're coping okay. My sister also promised to come over when she gets back from spring break. All right? Thank you very much for the offer, though. That's very kind of you. We'll let you know when it all gets to be too much. Until that time, it's okay.
It's obvious that the time is now. You don't have to pretend. The last time I was there, all I could do was to keep my mouth shut about the state of the place.
Really? I've never thought the place was too bad. As I said, Harvey helps out, and I do as much as I can.
And anyway, it's not for you that I'm going over. It's to try and relieve some of the burden Harvey has to bear. The poor boy can't be expected to work hard all day, only to come home to an endless list of chores. He'll burn himself out.
But it's quite a long way from there to here. Isn't it a bit tiresome? Nobody wants to travel across town just to clean a house.
If I'm going out of my way to get over there, the least you could do is pay for the taxi.
I'll have to ask Harvey about that. We've been extra careful with savings recently. It would defeat the purpose if we were to suddenly start shelling out for long taxi rides. From your place to here, it must be an hour at least. That will be hundreds of dollars.
Just pay it out of your own money. Before you got pregnant, you worked for how long? More than 10 years. You must have a healthy-looking bank balance.
That's not the point. If you insist, I suppose the house could do with the thorough clean.
If truth be known, I wasn't planning on helping out at all. But sense of duty persuaded me. Your baby is a girl, right? It's very disappointing. I was hoping for a boy with all my might. I prayed every night for a grandson. And when I heard you were carrying a girl, I lost all interest.
Is that right? I'll be sure to tell her that when she's born.
When you and Harvey got married and I met your family, I was most disappointed to see your siblings were all girls. And continuing on that trend, your first child is a girl. You can understand how disappointing that is for a grandmother.
I don't mind what gender the baby is. As long as he or she is healthy, I'm sure Harvey feels the same way too.
Of course you would have that opinion. Well, as long as the next one is a boy, you have a boy and all will be forgiven.
Forgiven? Forgiven for what? What year do you think this is? China spent decades getting rid of girls, and look where that got them.
You really don't understand what a boy will mean for this family. Really, Leona, you youngsters have no sense of duty or loyalty to family. As soon as you recover from the birth of this baby, I want you to get busy making a brother for her, okay? No messing around. We can't wait forever. Understood?
Can you let me have this baby first? I can't make any promises. It isn't as easy to have loads of kids these days. Gone are the days of cheap this and cheap that. Everything is a financial strain.
Nonsense. The Lord wants you to have more children. The more you have, the more love and support a family will have. And above all else, we need a boy to continue the family line. Girls get married and go their own way. Like you and I did. We need a strong young man to take over and make sure this family lasts for the next 100 years. My great-great-great-great-grandfather was one of the founders of the city after fleeing poverty in Ireland.
Okay, I'll do my best, but you can't choose what the baby is going to be. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of women these days are keeping their maiden names. Hyphenating their family name with their husband's is getting pretty popular too.
Yes, and it often results in garbled, unpronounceable word soup. Imagine Galifianakis Theron. The poor kid would have a nightmare of a time trying to write that at school. Anyway, I have things to do. I'll be there at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Have cash ready for the taxi. I haven't had time to go to the ATM this week.
Okay, if you think it's necessary, I'll see if we have everything we need and get Harvey to pick up anything we run out of. See you tomorrow.
What's the meaning of this, Leona? Harvey tells me that there's no need for me to help you out anymore.
Hi, Crystal. I'm able to do some of the housework, so you really don't have to come all the way over to here to help out. We both feel it isn't right to depend on you so much. Thanks for the last few days, though. We really appreciate it.
You just don't want me there, right? You may as well come out and say it. I warned Harvey he was being too lenient with you, letting you walk all over him. That poor boy. Well, come on. Out with it. Whatever you have to say, you can say it to me now.
There is something that really bothers me.
Oh, yes. What could that be? More complaining about me, no doubt. Or how unfair the world is.
I think Harvey has already told you, but when you are here cleaning, you bump into me.
That's because you are in the way. How can I clean with a big lump of a pregnant woman, acting like an obstacle course? I told you to give me space to clean. You are always right in the wrong spot at the wrong time. The hallway is narrow enough as it is, without your massive belly blocking the way. How am I supposed to get past?
I don't think that's what happened.
What then? Are you saying I deliberately knocked into you? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yes. That's how it appears. And it wasn't just once. At the moment, just moving around is hard, and a fall could really complicate things. It might harm the baby. As I told you, I really need to be resting.
Look at the size of you. How could anyone clean around that? You take up most of the living room, the hallway, the kitchen, and you blame me? I can't believe my lovely boy married such a difficult woman.
Sorry. Being pregnant has made me very touchy. I'm normally much more laid back.
Laid back? Literally lying on the sofa now. It's hard to imagine anyone being more laid back. Are you taking a break from taking a break?
Raging hormones, I guess.
I'd say so. Getting all flustered about such a trivial thing. You're hysterical. It's not all good for the baby to be so emotional. Having such a hysterical mother will have an irreversible effect on the child. She'll grow up to be just as hysterical as you, maybe more so.
You don't have to say it like that. This is my first pregnancy. Of course I'm nervous and worried about things.
I'm only pointing out the truth. I certainly wasn't lying around the house, getting in the way when I had my first child, or second, or any of them. I just shut up and got on with things. I shudder to think what this family will be like if that girl grows up to be like you. Let's just hope that Harvey's calm and loving personality is more dominant in the DNA genes.
Please don't come here again until I've had my baby. Okay? If I'm being honest, after all this, I'm not sure I even want you to come here afterwards either. I'll talk to Harvey about it tonight when he comes home.
What? So I'm the bad guy? Not some twisted logic there. I understand you are worked up about having your first baby, but to use me as a punching bag for your frustration is taking things too far. Oh, my fault, is it? Huh.
Crystal, I know you have never really liked me. I felt it even before I married Harvey. I always thought that not getting on with your mother-in-law was a common problem I could handle. I thought that if it was just between you and me, I could deal with it. But now that you are already talking trash about my baby? My unborn baby? Harvey and I don't care if it's a boy or a girl. It doesn't matter to us. She's what we've always wanted. So can you back off?
So you're saying you don't want me anywhere near the baby? You'd keep a grandmother away from her grandchild. You really are a difficult woman, aren't you? I wonder if you can even handle giving birth in your mental state. I worry for the baby.
What do you mean? I'd be perfectly okay if certain family members didn't cause me stress.
You've gone from being physically unable to do housework and needing to lie down all day to being mentally unfit for anything. I wonder if the stress of birth will send you over the edge.
Over the edge? I'm not a mental patient. I just need to rest. This is stressful.
Do I need to go into more detail? I've noticed you slipping recently.
How can you say something like that? If you weren't Harvey's mother... Look, I don't feel comfortable having you around. Please don't come over anymore.
I feel the same way. I don't want to see a round, swollen face again. It was with heavy heart that I attended your wedding to my lovely son. Now, all my fears have come true. I just hope the whole thing doesn't end in a disaster for my Harvey and the baby. Leona, dear, are you awake? How do you feel? I was so worried.
What do you want? Didn't Harvey tell you to stop messaging me?
You can't say that at a time like this, can you?
What's that supposed to mean?
You're in hospital now, right? I heard you were rushed there in an ambulance. You must be in a terrible state. Is the baby okay? I was so worried. I couldn't sleep last night. Harvey hasn't said anything, so I thought I'd text you directly. I know you aren't too fond of me at the moment, but families need to stick together at times like these. Don't you think?
What are you talking about? I've been at home since you last saw me.
Wait a minute. You went out to buy lunch, fell down the stairs, and were rushed to the hospital? Isn't that what happened?
I don't know where you get your information, but this is the first time I've heard of it. I think I'd know if I'd fallen downstairs and been taken to the hospital. Today's lunch was last night's leftovers. I've just finished eating. I haven't left the house. You must have your wires crossed somewhere, I think.
What? Are you deliberately trying to deceive me? Don't want me at the hospital? Is that it? A pregnant woman fell over in the street, right near your house. She was rushed to hospital.
I did hear the sound of a siren. That must have been it. I hope she's okay. I don't know any other pregnant women in this area, though.
So it really wasn't you?
I'm sure.
The lady who fell was wearing a summer dress, just like you always wear.
Yeah, well, the maternity clothes I usually wear are popular with young mothers. I've seen quite a few other moms with the same style of dress before. We probably all look the same from a distance.
So it wasn't you. Well, that's a relief. It looked like you from behind.
How do you know about all this? You don't live anywhere near here.
I just happened to be in the neighborhood.
You aren't allowed here. I thought we made that very clear. You aren't to just drop in unannounced or announced. I thought you understood that.
I was worried. And you don't have any say over where I go. It's a free country.
This accident, they wouldn't have anything to do with you, would it?
What? Just what are you insinuating?
Well, it just doesn't seem right. Something smells fishy. You just happened to be there? You know all about it? Are you sure you didn't think it was me and accidentally bump into her? Just like you did to me when you were here cleaning. Make it look like an accident and apologize when actually you did it on purpose. Is that not what happened?
You've got some nerve. How could you make such accusations? Why would I go out of my way to bump into someone I didn't even know?
You thought it was me, didn't you?
I'm telling you, nothing of the sort happened. I was merely there and saw her fall.
I don't believe you. You were quick to check with me that you thought I was in the hospital. If you really were just there, you would have helped. And if it had been me, I would have seen you.
I was worried about you.
Not worried enough to stop and see if it was actually me. Crystal, this doesn't add up. You're pretty good at this sort of thing, aren't you? You need to talk to the police. Better to come from you before they start looking at CCTV footage.
I'm telling you, it wasn't me. Why would I do something like that?
Because you thought it was me. And you've got no interest in me and my soon-to-be daughter? I've had enough of you. You're toxic. Stay away from me and my family. Don't even come to this neighborhood.
You've already made up your mind that it was me. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty? I've been framed. It's a setup.
All right then. Tell me why you were over on this side of town. You said you were just in the neighborhood, right? Why? Do you have any other reason than to visit us? I'd like to hear it if you do. Maybe you could explain it to my satisfaction. I doubt it, but I'm still waiting to hear why.
I wanted to see Harvey, so I thought I'd drop by.
He's always at work this time of day. You know that. Try again.
I was worried about you too. You're close to the due date now. I was going to see if there was anything I could do around the place to help. You told me not to come over, so I didn't text you in advance.
Even though you've done nothing but criticize me and bully me since I married Harvey? Not to mention the intentional bumping and pushing me while I'm pregnant? And how about not wanting to have anything to do with the baby because she's a girl?
Well, there's a famous French bakery in your neighborhood. I was going to buy a bunch of nice things and bring them over.
Today is Tuesday. They're closed every Tuesday. Is that the best you can do? This won't stand up in court, you know. You'll be charged with assault. They won't even need the CCTV footage with such a flimsy alibi.
It wasn't me. I'm telling you.
You need to tell the truth. The more you lie, the worse it will get. Are you really going to drag this through the courts? It would be better to just confess now. The judge will probably be more lenient. And given your age, you'll probably just have to do home detention or something. Then again, depending on the judge, if you're found guilty of assaulting a pregnant woman, you might be looking at jail time.
You just shut your damn mouth. I wish it was you who was taken to the hospital. Leona, I've just heard from Harvey. Did you tell him about the accident today?
Of course. And he understands how much trouble you are in. If it was you, the whole family will have to live with the shame.
How many times do I have to tell you? I didn't do it. I was nowhere near her.
I was worried about it. I was worried about the woman who fell. Worried about what will happen if you are convicted. Worried about how Harvey would feel having a mother in prison.
Why are you saying that? It's got nothing to do with you.
It has everything to do with me if my husband's mother goes to court and is found guilty of assaulting a pregnant woman. It's despicable. If there is some serial pregnant woman pusher out there, I need to be vigilant. What if he or she has it in for the pregnant? Just hates pregnant women and is hell-bent on pushing them. I'd be too scared to leave the house. Maybe some kind of deranged psychopath who gets off on pushing over mothers-to-be.
I've never heard of such a fetish.
If she or he is out there pushing over every pregnant woman she or he sees, I could be next.
Nobody said she was pushed. She fell. Apparently.
That's not, in fact, true. There was a witness who saw the whole thing.
What? Who? What have you heard?
A woman in the building across the street heard the ambulance and went downstairs to see what all the fuss was about.
Ah, I see. She heard the ambulance and went down. Not a witness then.
But she spoke to the pregnant woman. She said she'd been pushed.
So what happened to her? I'm assuming you asked the police.
You really want to know?
Yeah. Well, as a fellow woman, I'm concerned for her well-being.
You really want to know? Are you ready to hear this? You won't be able to unhear it once I've told you.
What? What's that supposed to mean? I won't be able to unhear it, huh?
I mean, you better be ready for what I'm about to tell you.
Be ready? Okay, just tell me already.
And you swear you had nothing to do with what happened today? You were in the neighborhood to see your son, although you knew he was at work, and you also wanted to buy bread, even though it's a famous bakery, and everyone knows they are closed on Tuesdays. This will all go much less painfully if you just tell the truth. Judges are extra hard on time-wasting liars. The truth will come out eventually. There's a testimony from the victim in CCTV footage. A confession of guilt is always better than making people go through a lengthy court case only to be found guilty.
No. I just wanted to cause you a little annoyance. I didn't mean to harm anyone. Please, Leona. I regret it. Forgive me. Stop scaring me. Just tell me what she said.
What are you talking about? Scare? The scariest thing was you pushing a pregnant woman. It's such an unimaginably evil thing to do. It was you. You're the perpetrator. You basically admitted it. Unbelievable.
Perpetrator?
The woman is going to be okay.
Okay. Oh, that's a relief.
But she sustained a few scratches and bruises. The baby is okay, but she might not have been so lucky. The police are out now searching for the older woman who pushed her. It won't be long before they identify her. They have a couple of eyewitnesses they are interviewing now, and they've just requested the video footage from a number of storefront security cameras. You need to turn yourself in, Crystal. It will look way better if you go to the station and show remorse.
Leona, please do me a favor and keep this a secret from Harvey. Can I rely on you to keep it between us? I'll never go to your house again. I promise. Just do me this one favor. Please. I'll never push you around or look down on you again. I won't question your role as a wife and mother. I swear to you.
So you do regret it? Good. So you should. Who does this sort of thing? Did you think you were above the law?
I regret it. As a mother and a woman, I regret doing what I did. I've been miserable since Harvey got married and left home. I was jealous of the happiness you two shared together. Then you got pregnant, and you both seemed to be even happier. I wanted some of that. I haven't been happy since Harvey's father passed away. He was a missionary in West Africa and came down with sleeping sickness, malaria, and dengue fever. I flew over to be with him, and he seemed to be recovering. But just as we were getting ready to fly home, he contracted Lassa fever, and the authorities came in white hazard containment suits and drove him away. That was the last time I ever saw him, heard of him.
So you pushed a pregnant woman in the street? Is this your sick way of justifying your horrible behavior?
I know. I know it's inexcusable. I'll live the rest of my life regretting what I've done. I am repenting. I'll shave my head and dedicate my life to helping the poor and the sick, just like Mother Teresa.
I don't remember Mother Teresa going around India pushing over pregnant women.
I'll carry around the shame for the rest of my life, a heavy burden of shame, like Christ our Savior.
I don't think the Bible mentions anything about Jesus going around Judea pushing over pregnant women either.
I'll have to live with this for the rest of my days.
What about the victim? There's no justice and you just feeling bad about it. You need to turn yourself in and try to make amends that way. It won't be easy, but you need to face up to what you've done.
But I'll be arrested. What if they throw me in prison? I can't go to prison. Please, Leona, just keep quiet about it, okay? I'm begging you. I'm too old to go to prison. I don't know how to fight. I've never had a fight in my life.
And yet you made pushing me around seem like fun. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Please, Leona, we're family. Just don't say anything. That's all I ask. It's not like you're lying to anyone. Just keeping quiet isn't a crime.
I talked to Harvey about it. He's shocked and angry, but he's about to go and talk with the police. You're running out of time, Crystal. You need to go to the police station yourself. Turn yourself in. There's no point dragging this out unnecessarily.
Wait. I regret it. I understand I was wrong. I've turned over a new leaf. I'll never do something like that again. Ever. Please, Leona. Tell her I'm sorry. Tell the police I'm sorry.
That doesn't really matter. You assaulted someone, and that's against the law. You need to face up to it and take responsibility for your actions.
What will happen to me? That's for the victim, the police, and the court to decide.
I already told you what I thought could happen, especially if the police have to launch a manhunt to find you.
Leona, you've got to help me. Please. I can't go to the police. If you persuade Harvey not to talk to them, I'm sure we could work something out. He'll listen to you.
You thought she was me. You were trying to hurt me and my baby. That much is clear. You texted me thinking I was in the hospital when you had thought you put me in there. Do you think I have any desire to help you after what you did? What you tried to do to me? You must be out of your mind.
It was just a little prank. I didn't think it would end up like this.
A little prank? You've got a sick sense of humor if you think this is even remotely funny. You seemed to be happy when you contacted me. You thought it was me who was taken to the hospital by ambulance. You must have been so disappointed to find out it wasn't even me.
I don't want to cause Harvey any more stress. Come on, Leona. Think of Harvey. What if I go to prison? What will people say? I won't be able to show my face at the bingo hall, or anywhere for that matter.
I have no idea what will happen. It's got nothing to do with Harvey and I. We've got our hands full getting ready for the baby. I'm sorry, Crystal, but we no longer want to have anything to do with you. Please don't try to make contact with either Harvey or myself again.
But what do I do if she sues me? I don't have enough money to pay for a lawyer, let alone huge amounts of damages. Do you think I'll have to pay fines? What happens in cases like this?
I don't know. Nobody I know has ever assaulted a pregnant woman.
What will happen after all this? I can't live on my own. I'll never make it. What do I do about the neighbors? They won't want an ex-con living in the area. It's a very conservative and religious neighborhood.
You're on your own, Crystal. I hope they throw you in jail. It's the best place for someone like you. Maybe that will be a humbling enough experience to make a change for the good.
I'm sorry. I'm so very sorry. Forgive me. I don't have anyone else to turn to.
Don't apologize to me. You need to apologize to the poor woman you assaulted. You are damn lucky she didn't lose the baby. Then you'd be looking at a long sentence for murder. I won't forget the way you treated me. Don't ever show your face around here. You are dead to us.
Don't shut me out. We're family. I love my son. He wouldn't want to never see me again. I won't survive on my own. I've seen those dramas and documentaries about women's prisons. I won't last a day. I don't want to get shivved in the shower.
Didn't you say you never want to see my round, swollen face ever again? Well, wish granted. I hope they lock you up for a long time. Harvey reported Crystal to the police, and she was arrested that very afternoon. She apologized, but the victim refused to settle out of court, and Crystal was fined and given a 3-year suspended sentence. She also had to pay for a lawyer and hefty court costs. I was truly disappointed she didn't get sent to prison. But as soon as friends and family found out, they stopped talking to her. I guess that is a form of punishment. We too have blocked her messages and have had nothing to do with her since the trial. So, I don't know what has become of her. I do know that she has been reduced to a miserable life she never imagined a few short months ago. And as for me, I have my baby, and the 3 of us moved into a brand new house in a nice, quiet suburb. Harvey has been absolutely wonderful. I worry that he's doing too much around the house, but he seems to be genuine about it. We've kept our new location a secret, so Crystal can't find us. close family who know where we are have promised to keep it from her. I can finally relax and raise our little daughter without that evil woman pushing me around and ordering me about. I can't wait to tell my daughter how happy she has made us by coming into our lives.